Key connections. Okay, so push open again. Yes. Okay, and what we are going to do, update that query. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, okay. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me add this chat window into the view. So let's firstly browser. Yeah, link browser. Chat. Okay. You're out that. Chat is ready to display messages. Okay. So where are they? Okay, let's not make this research. So, let's see if this works. This is going to be interesting. Lovely orbs. Oh. Can you type something just to check this works? Sorry. Good. It works. All right. Okay. So, an interesting thing about development for iOS and Android as a interface is obviously that most of the time you're building a dumb user interface and you're faking the data in general, and quite often that becomes a headache as you build greater and greater connections inside the user interface. Funny enough, quite often you need a server side, and quite often that server side needs to be robust, standardized, it needs to deal with security and all the other bits and pieces, and normally it's a good idea to start off in a place which is quite often how do you say, easy. You need to start off with something that is enabling you to develop, to establish some standards, to work on things that are right, maybe wrong, prove your API works, and then after you've proven the API works, basically then to work on user interface. There's never ever a situation where I've ever come across where user interface has been, shall we say, defined perfectly the first time. I mean, it's iterative. The thing that is always the problem, though, is data. Data is a big deal. Data is pretty much everything regarding your service. If you screw it up, you can basically shoot yourself in the foot and end the whole thing in a matter of seconds. Is it the ideal way? No, because web obviously needs a different skill set. You know, obviously you need to have a framework of some sort, whether that's based upon Node.js and React, or if you build your own platform like I do. It's your call, obviously. The thing is the fact that normally if you develop for iOS and Android, quite often you need something in between that you control, that you know is really working for both sides of the coin. Then that is easy. Then it's just building an interface on top of a data source that you know backwards and forwards and so on and so forth. And you can't run. Funny enough, you can't run and build platforms you can't build platforms for iOS without considering Android. And the interesting thing I came across was the fact that iOS is very easy to build on nowadays with Swift and Objective-C and so on and so forth. Android is a little tougher because they're different platforms, obviously different versions of Android. I mean, not that you don't have different versions of iOS, you do now, but Android, you can get away with pushing people, to, if they're on Android, you can kind of turn around and say, go to the website, at least initially, and work on that basis. There's no real right or wrong answer to this whole thing. It's really depending upon you as a developer and a number of different capabilities that you have in your toolbox. I work in Rust from the back end, and only Rust. I don't touch React, I don't touch Node, I don't touch everything. Everything that you see is built by me. It's Rust with jQuery on front communicating in Ajax, and so everything is real time and everything I control in the box. There's no dependencies other than Rust from a server side. From an Objective-C and Android side, it's very easy to just code on top of a platform that you have full control of. But you'll always need a data source. You'll always need a source of truth that you eventually rely on for the state of your application platform. So, the thing that's funny about Rust is the fact that it teaches you. So, when I learned computer science back in 1990s, basically there was always this viewpoint regarding strongly typed languages. Modular 2 was the big deal at the time, and I also learned IFOL and a couple of other things. Over time, obviously languages like Swift, Node, jQuery, they all kind of abstract the notion of having a strongly typed language. I mean, even if you look at Visual Studio Code here, so if you look at this bit here, it's automatically determining the fact that I'm actually talking about a seated player. So in poker, the idea is the fact that a seat has a potential for a player, otherwise it's an empty seat. So a seated player is obviously a player at the table. In Rust, there is this capability to define strongly typed situations where you are literally defining, sometimes I'm a bit lazy, here you are defining hash maps or vectors, the Rust equivalent of arrays or dictionaries. So you can be strongly typed, or you can be quite lazy in saying, okay, I don't have to define everything explicitly. And so there's quite some elegance in Rust, but it has the capability of not allowing you to write code which will not compile. It will just break. It will turn around and say, sorry, no chance. But this is this is further down the road from a starting project. I mean, I developed this platform in Python back in 2013. Yeah, you see, the Firebase is a very, very good tool to have. One of your, as developers, one of the, I would turn around to you and say the fact that the minute you start dealing with not only interface but also backend and implementation strategies, you're no longer a developer, you're technically an architect. You're architecting a solution, and you've entered the realm of a number of topics that you need to take into account with regard to any business continuity and all the other bits and pieces. The minute you rely on a technology like Firebase or like AWS or GCP, the minute you rely on any of these technology platforms actually to provide a service, you enter the realm of actually having to cover your ass in the event the fact that it either becomes too expensive or it doesn't exactly cater for your needs down the road and you need to move. I would always urge you to not rely on an implementation. It's great to start off with, it's great to get hands dirty, but be very aware of the fact that all these platforms, they all have pros and cons, and Firebase may be great for iOS and Android up until a certain point when you're like realizing, oh my god, the cost of Google is so bloody expensive because my app just hit 50 million downloads or something along those lines. And unless you really need to go to Firebase. I mean, I use Firebase for Android for notifications because out of Firebase, there's really no other option really that's kind of stable and, guaranteed delivery. Google also provides you the maps functionality and all the other bits and pieces that go in with the Google side of the entire industry. That all works, and that's all needed from an Android perspective. From an Apple perspective, you've got obviously Apple Maps and you've got Apple notifications. So you always have to deal with implementation choices. What platform do you use instead of Firebase? Use my own servers, yes. So what I do is for notifications inside Apple iOS and for Android, the big question at the end of the day is, are notifications real time, i.e. important, or are they in a situation where they need to be delivered as the app is in use? If the app is in use, then I use WebSockets to create connection between the device and my server infrastructure, and then I communicate over the WebSocket side of things. If you need to send something urgently to a client, you've got no choice. You have to use some form of notification service, and in that case, it's Firebase. But yeah, it really depends upon your what you're building, and in most cases, Firebase is a perfectly good tool. It does really well, and it's very usable in every regard. I would use it for its key purpose, like say for instance notifications or specific pieces of the tool. I would not turn around and build implementations explicitly to be 100% reliant upon that technology. It can shoot you. What platform do you use? I usually host all my servers with DigitalOcean or books. Yeah, a good friend of mine has a book platform in the UK. Yeah, it's a good idea. Books are a big deal. Yeah, the obvious thing about books is obviously content. You need to get authors into the platform, and um, or you're curating books and creating content. Yeah. Yeah, aspect. Privacy is a very, very big deal. Yeah, GDPR is or DSVG in Germany. Datenschutz. Yeah. The thing about AWS actually is very, very expensive. If you have the skill sets, I would turn around and go bare metal with regard to having your own service. So go to a client like DigitalOcean or another similar service provider where you just have the servers and you can play around. AWS, for all intents and purposes, is extremely expensive if you make mistakes. And people do make mistakes on AWS. I think that's half the reason why they get their money. Exactly, and then good robust things. Mm. Yeah, the minute you get cash in the bank, that's the time when you can improve on the service to be professional grade. And at the beginning, it's okay to be scrappy. That it's held together with tape and sticky tape and elastic bands. Once you have some cash coming in, you can upgrade and build and build and build. Yeah. Well, Germany is stuck in 2001. Yeah. I mean, if you, yeah, one of the, yeah, you can believe me when I say the fact that I understand that perspective. Yeah, you have to love it at times. There's nothing better than an underdog, but well. It's because Germany is very, very risk averse. Obviously, they don't want to get involved in anything unless it's absolutely 100% sure the fact that it's going to make money. There are no guarantees in this situation. So, interestingly enough, in Germany, there's this heavy reliance or heavy aversion to any risk whatsoever. So, yeah. Yeah. The interesting thing in Germany is trying to actually convince Germans the fact that your actual platform does do something different than a commercial platform, say for instance Silicon Valley. I mean, it's really tough to sell yourself and your business as something that's innovative and new and that's going to be there for longer than 10 minutes, because in Germany there's like, if a company has been there for 5 or 6 years, they're still kind of like, oh, they're still young, 20 years, 30 years, oh, okay, yeah. So, but how far are you with your book platform? Why on earth is this not showing correctly? Hold on. Chat. Properties. 2 weeks ago. Oh, you just started. That's new. Welcome to the club. And how many years experience in iOS do you have? Or Android, or both? Three years. You're below newbie level. Yeah, it's not that bad. You'll learn fast. Come on. I spent the last 2 days trying to debug an error on Xcode that I can't find resources, so I pivoted to starting the Anvil. What was the error message? Just as a curious question. Are we talking Swift or Objective-C? Swift, okay. Sharing these messages. Interesting. That's not the error message, though. That's just saying the fact that it's not compiling correctly. You probably have a resource file which is called strings data, and it looks like the format of that file is actually incorrect. So there's either you've got a comma too many if it's or not a semicolon correctly set up. So strings data format Swift. German speaking, I made the script hundreds of broke down, but I cannot find the file referenced. The file is called book card, but it's a derived object, so it's probably coming from a data model. Yeah, this is localization file. Yeah. So the interesting thing is the fact that I would urge anyone, yourself, maybe anyone, not to get into the space of localizing your project until you get really towards the end. Um, so yeah, let me bring up a da da da. So 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 when you start building, this is probably going to be tough to read a second. So hold on. So when you have a project, it shouldn't be messing you up. So the thing that you're coming across is the fact that it's strings data. If I hold on a second, file new project, iOS app. Swift. I hate Swift. Aha. Okay. Are you using Swift UI or Swift storyboards? Just curious. Come on, wake up. Oh. Dun dun dun. Hello. Well, okay. So, let me. Okay. So the interesting problem comes in general here. Whenever you add, where is it? Localization. Here. So the issue comes from this side of the equation. So basically, whenever you the issue you're coming across is because the fact that it's attempting to localize a number of files, probably because you're running German and English, maybe. If I turn around and say add German localization, so basically what you need to do is stick, although this may be very difficult, stick in one language first, build the application and get it to run first before going to localize it into another language, because you're only creating more trouble for yourself down the road, because localization can be a pain in the ass if you because if you say you create a strings file, does this work? New new file from template, yeah. Oh, come on. The localization is the biggest pain in the ass you can imagine. There we go. Oh, got it. Hello world is Guten Tag. So if you do hello world Guten Tag, and then in your content you can say and then if I turn around and say in German test project, edit scheme, run German, close, run. Run simulator. That's okay. Hoping this works. Oh, come on. Okay, stop. Debug, test, debug. Why is it not saying system? Oh, that's true. Yes, indeed. Yeah, hold on. Device. device, arrays or contents. Hold on. Yeah. I was trying to avoid doing it in the settings. Language and region. German. Your device is being restarted. Okay, we are in German. Dun dun dun. Come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, I did. Stop. This is. Oh. It's not using the localizable structure, so bum 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 bum. This is correct. Why the hell is that German localized? Let me just check manage schemes. Let me just reset that scheme. Edit scheme. Options. Just use system region, system language class. Why can't it see the localization file? Okay, let's create a new file. Okay, file, open recent, busy. Oh, shared, framework, and this object, extensions. There, I did it. There. Is this not going to work, is it? Yeah, I don't usually work in Swift. Hold on a second. Swift import. Oh. No. Ah. Ah. Okay. So. Yeah. Finally. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Hey, it wasn't 3 hours. Come on. Okay, so yeah, the Sigto, and it crashes because bridging headers. Bridging headers are nasty. Delete. Move to trash. Build failed. Now it build failed because it's probably looking for a bridging header now. This project, yeah. Why on earth is it looking for a bridging header? So project, build settings, build phases. No. Copy redundancy. No, it's not there. Tracking dependencies. No. Well, where is it looking for the bridging header? Gotcha. Okay, got it. Okay. And if we do go to build folders and the copy bundle resource files. Yes. Yeah, the assets are localizable, and yeah, there's the preview assets. So if you go now, what? Ah! Localizable works. So yeah, the big headache is with localization, because quite often the thing is that yeah. Welcome to iOS. I've been in it since 2008. Yeah, so. But yeah, I mean, this is. iPad design, iPad main. Where's the designer? It's in the interface, view controllers, iPad designer. Yeah. The funny thing is the fact that the issues that you come across in iOS actually are mirrored in Android. They're just slightly differently, but Android, especially Kotlin, becomes very similar to iOS pretty much on a month by month basis, and especially from a designer perspective. Yeah. Especially Swift UI definitely mirrors Kotlin, or Kotlin mirrors Swift UI. It's not quite sure who's ripping who off, but yeah. But I mean, it's when you're coding, and yeah. But Swift, yeah, Rust is pretty straightforward if you know Objective C or Swift or Android. It's pretty easy to work out. The only thing that becomes a mental leap is the borrow checker. Wow, Apple. I love to turn around and say it's an Apple thing, but it's a everyone thing. Android does it, Java does it. They all do it to a degree. They every single time they release a new update, things break. A long time ago, when Swift was released, basically every release of an update of Swift broke everything beforehand. So, well, yeah, I think that's called evolution of software. It will break, and that's why, yeah, developers have a job, I guess. But yeah, it's very dumb. But yeah, but I mean the thing. Yeah, yeah. Well, it grows fast, so even if I was to pull it all out, it'd be back within a couple of days. Oh dear, yeah. But yeah, they. Do you use any AI tools? No, not for coding, because a couple of reasons why. One is the fact that quite often it's better to learn it than to shall we say go the AI route. It's very easy to get the AI to write a lot of code, but the problem becomes, where did it come from? Do you really know it works? Is it flawless? So I've been playing around with DeepSeek R1 and a couple of other bits and pieces, and half of this is about building a neural net to play poker, based upon the reinforcement learning papers that were published by the team behind DeepSeek. So the idea is to, shall we say, have some fun with that whole process, build a smart poker bot. Yeah. From a code perspective, it will help you learn, but it won't. AI won't help you learn. It will help you achieve some results, but the question is what that result looks like. I'm not anti-AI. Let me put it bluntly. You got to be aware of the fact that in most cases it's a good thing. A lot of cases it's questionable. So depends where you want to stand on the topic. There's this viewpoint, the fact that businesses can't survive without embracing AI. Yeah. Yeah. There's the AI platforms have been suffering this kind of a vertigo problem whereby they have to reset the AI platform with each interaction, because basically the interaction of an AI has the capability to develop a personality, and the personality starts exhibiting certain, shall we say, problems. Yeah. Yeah. It. It depends. The interesting thing about R1 is the reinforcement papers that were published. R1 itself is pretty good, but the papers are more interesting about how they achieve the reinforcement learning process. But to be perfectly honest, none of that was really extraordinary new, except for the fact that the volume of data that dealt with. Maybe let us see with three. Oh, well, R3 or R because we're on R1. Well, my theory about OpenAI, and especially the new release, is that they released it very, very quickly. They were sitting on this already, and they released it very quickly because so much of the industry was turning around and saying, "Oh, R1 is so much better than OpenAI. OpenAI is dust." And they were forced to release O3 before it was mature enough, or before they thought they had to release it, because of the threat of DeepSeek kicking their ass. They had no choice. They had, there's this viewpoint. If you don't like the situation, you can either address it or you change the conversation. And they changed the conversation by saying, "Oh, here's our new platform." And they had to release something that was dramatically better than R1. But the problem is, R1 is still open source, and OpenAI is still anything but open. It's not open. So my 2 cents. Oh God, yeah. Memory is a bloody nightmare. Yeah. That's because when it says the fact that it's 7 billion tokens, each word is a token. And when you prompt it, it generates the tokens from the words plus metadata from previous conversations and so on and so forth. And as you increase, you burn memory and memory and memory. And when they say 24 trillion tokens, it's taking into account potentially your entire educational history, everything about you, and everything that it can glean about the conversation and previous conversations in making the inference to the next point of reference. And 7 million or 7 billion model fills up very quickly as you not only add the prompt but the result, and then you prompt it again, and all the content from the past and your questions increases that those are all tokens. Yeah. Oh, for a price. AWS will do anything for money. It's about to see a lot of people leave. AWS is about to Amazon services are about to get more expensive anyway, so. Oh, that was Stargate. 500 billion was the cost of the data centers. It's not the cost of the entire thing. That's Stargate. Stargate is all the costs regarding the data centers, 500 billion, yeah. This is OpenAI, Amazon, and SoftBank. That was just for Amazon. To have 6 months of memory, but who has that money? For what? A chatbot. 500 billion for the most expensive chatbot in history. They referenced the Canada case where the AI misled the customer. That was that. Oh, the line chatbot. Yeah, indeed. Grieving passenger when it tried to fail to disavow its AI voucher. The passenger claimed to be misled on the airline's rules for bereavement affairs when chatbot hallucinated an answer inconsistent with airline policy. Tribunal in Canada's small claim court. $812. Oh, come on. Ads. What the hell? Following the program, the passenger used against on the website to search flights. Bereavement friends went to answer. The passenger captured a screenshot of the chatbot's room and shows the chatbot or the customer again reduces. For immediate death or death or immediate family, you need to travel immediately or have one. However, its agreement policies on the airline's page contradicts the chatbot, and please be aware your agreement does not allow refunds for travel that has already happened. Offer the voucher for 200. Negligent misrepresentation. Yeah, this is an interesting thing that chatbots are potentially hallucinating the data. Why does AI create a better customer experience? Yeah, hallucinations. Suicide hotline. Yeah, the interesting question is why on earth do they believe that an AI chatbot is a better customer experience than a human? It's like, what? AI, AI hallucinations come out of fast, yes. Chatbots in the EU, AI chatbots have now been designated as low risk by the EU Commission as of this week. So I don't know what's going on and why we need. That is why we need to go to books, remind people what it means to have humane experiences. Yeah. Yes. Good old paper or books in general, digital books. Yeah. So, do you want to have a moneymaker? So, I used to be part of a, just to prove I'm not full of shit. This is me. This is the guy you're talking to. So, I was part of, Booksby. So basically, it was a platform that looked into books and determined the quality of a book becoming a film and whether that film would be a massive box office success. So the idea was the fact that you'd look at the manuscript and then from the manuscript use natural language processing and machine learning to determine the quality of the film. However, there was a problem with this whole process is the fact that if you have a manuscript and a book, and say for instance I'm speaking English like now, and then I would say je ne sais quoi and put something French in the sentence, or I put something Spanish like no más. The language models at the time failed. They broke down because you were switching from English, and when you selected the language model, everything was expected to be in English, and as it was doing a tokenization of the words, it wasn't able to work out whether you were still in English, and then it would come across a word and it would say, oh, I can't find that word. And because language models back in 2016 did not have this notion of multi-language, You loaded the English model, or you loaded the Spanish model, or you loaded the French model. But there was no notion of having a model that bridged English, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and so on and so forth. So what happened was the fact that the whole process broke down. The company, we didn't go further. It died in 2017. Yes, very much so. So I've been in language models since 2015. So you could, yes, but there was even a bigger deal. So how many people do we have on the stream here? Do we have many people on the stream? 3, no, not really, not that many. Anyway, it's just us. People, so there's an interesting thing about books is the fact that basically people read the first chapter and then maybe they don't like the book. So if you, I grab a book, hold on, I grab a book. 1 second, I need a book. So say for instance, this is my book, my trusty book that I bought this book a long time ago. This is version 1. You look on there, it says version 1. Okay, this is the first publication of C++. Egal, it's not relevant, but when I buy a book, whether it's digital or paper, quite often I'll read the first chapter and then say, for instance, I don't like the book. I get rid of it. I give it away, or I stop reading it. I switch to another book, right? So why on earth, at this present moment, is there no platform to allow you to preview a book, at least the first chapter, before you buy it? And if you take that further, if you're a student or a university student or a college student and you have to have reference books, quite often you don't need the whole book, you only need specific chapters of the book. So why can you not buy the specific chapters of books? There you go. You could use AI to summarize chapters. That would be an interesting thing. Basically condense or distill paragraphs of content down to a couple of lines. You could effectively do that. Yeah. If I do that. Books. Oh. Come on. Come on, wake up. Come on. Alright, this is not showing on my books. These are all the books I have. Yeah, so people read, obviously read digitally. Here they come. This is my other device. It's downloading all my books now. So, but when I used to travel backwards and forwards to the US, I used to take an iPad and I would just read on the flight. The thing that was more, I was really big in the book business, so to speak. So but it's definitely an interesting area. The only thing is the fact that publishers, anyone can now be a publisher, or anyone can now can write a book, and the big question is where that book is going to go, whether it's going to become the #1 bestseller. How do you get that to 1,000 or 20,000 people? It's all, people like to make money, of course, so authors want to make as much money as possible from their books, but there's always this headache. So anyway, but it's an interesting area, and books, it's a big money maker if you do it right. The only problem is obviously building a platform. A friend of mine, he has a company in the UK that does curated books for children. And it's, there's book clubs. Obviously, book clubs are a big deal in the US and here. It's a very big topic. The only thing is the fact that it's more gender specific with regard to the content and the time of the content, not being sexist or anything like this. Women actually read more than men, I think, for sure. Yeah. Why, especially in Berlin? Yeah, I can believe it. In the 70s, there was kind of like a genre of films that came about, which was kind of anti-tech. So in the 70s, there were the years in which I was born. Basically, there were a lot of films in the late 60s and early 70s which were all about the futuristic view on society and AI and everything in that space. And you had kind of like the utopian or dystopian society in films like Logan's Run, where basically, it was a utopian society, but with an undercurrent of kind of like trouble. And then you had the sci-fi films, which were all orientated towards pseudo hippiness, embracing Mother Nature, and 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Oh, I just won an award. And you have this and you had this counter hippie culture, which was all about embracing Mother Nature, but it was sci-fi and so on and so forth. And the thing that's interesting is the fact that from an AI perspective, AI has the potential to push us two directions. One, which is very technical and embracing technology, but you've also got this counterculture where people are going to, shall we say, become less desiring of anything technical in their life and move very much back to organic, touchy, feely, physical, words, physical things. Books, paper books are back. And I've got a feeling the fact that we're going to see that sooner rather than later is going to happen so much quicker than we expected. Viewer boost on what's viewer boosts? But it's a Russian site. Oh, bots. Okay. Yeah. It's an interesting space. But that's why I'm like there thinking about the fact that basically it's a tool, AI is a tool. The question is what's going to be used from it. I think traditionally it is how we have created books by genre. Yeah, TikTok. Oh, TikTok. Yeah. It's easy to consume small little pieces of content. Is now my gen and why I see on TikTok is that people don't look for non-fictionally included content. Yeah, well, it's all based upon how you scroll. I built kind of I built a version of TikTok. Basically, what is fascism in the space of capitalism in the context? If it's still capitalism in general, because what we have now is not. Is that capitalism? Would you call what we have now as capitalism? Techno-Freudianism, capitalism, yeah. Yeah. If you look at I think where things are going is definitely concerning. Not just in the US, but also in Europe. So now we need a collection of access research factors. Some of us are. Some of us have got deck chairs and just watching everyone going running. Yeah. Well, hopefully for a long time. And the going back to your book concept, the thing that's going to be the interesting point is differentiating yourself from other book platforms, because the biggest one is Blinkist, or at least everyone who likes to turn around and say that's the biggest platform, but what makes me unique? Yeah, that part. Yeah, the big question is what makes you unique? You know, from a sales perspective, that's the clinch, the thing that will drive interest in your platform. That's usually the problem. Or challenge. I've been working on this idea, like iterating for 2 years, spoke to librarians and bookshops as well as authors. Quite probably, yeah. People, yeah, it's highly likely that you're correct in the fact that basically there's a glaring lack of something that isn't there. The usual question is how to turn that into something that is financially in your best interest, and secondly, what's going to future-proof your situation, because the minute you come to market with that point, you'll have competition very quickly. Yeah, that's a tough one though. Getting access to librarians and authors. I have a lot of people that I know in the print industry, the publication industry, but everyone can be an author. Yeah. The thing about librarians is the fact that they're usually a very good source of curation. But of course they have domains of expertise or domains of interest. It's rare to find a librarian that is across the board basically an expert on all the topics. Depends where the subject matter expert. Yeah, but you really need to be careful to get the best subject matter experts on these topics. I was just thinking about that for a second. There's a way you could do something very interesting. There is a interesting topic that you could do. I wrote an EPUB decompressor. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Okay, so it's a zip. All right, so publication is a zip file. All right. All right, so let's consider one thing here. So okay, so there's the file. Let's create a new template. Let's call it new template. Click attach. book reader. Okay, so init self equals super init if self return self set return self void setup start at the moment. Okay, so void read file and a string file name. So as URL URL to file equals ns bundle main bundle URL for resource file name with the extension epub. Okay, ns data equals ns data with contents of URL to file. Ns log hello world init with file self equals self init if self return self read file name. Okay, so here we have two functions. We want that. Let's do here. Hash import book reader.h. Book reader equals book reader allocate init with file zodiac. ns log done. Stop. Alright, so data 29. Okay, it's loaded the file. Okay, so there it is. It's the file. So what we want to do, we then want to ns dictionary files available equals So do I want to do that? Do I want to do this? Okay, let's try it. Let's see if this works. Oh God, seriously? Release are you assholes. This is tells you how old this bloody thing is. Oh, come on. Ah, there we go. Okay, so yeah. So basically, 5, 4, 3. 3 is nothing, but 4 is the title, XML structure, page. Yeah. So I wrote a small application that basically decompresses a ebook, and then it gives you access to the data stream. So all the pages. And then from that, you can then use this to basically structure any process. So you can actually highlight content, search through the content, so on and so forth. Well, I mean, on the basis of this, you could, you can do a variety of things. You can do the server side, and then have basically what you mentioned earlier. You can have a distillation of paragraphs or of chapters into a specific set of content based upon an AI stream. You can, yeah. And this is, yeah. So, is it robust? No. It's just 10 minutes of work. Well, not 10 minutes. How much time was that? Half an hour? But effectively, so you could go, let's do this object 10. Okay, so object 10. Do you see title Zodiac? Style sheet is embedded. Page. Body caliber Zodiac. This is chapter. H2, yeah. Yeah, you could. You could use this as a basis for pretty much anything. You want to join a startup that has no money. All startups at the start don't have any money. The question is building something that will have a lot of money. And the thing would be along the lines of what? Okay, so say for instance, okay. So here I have a load of books, okay? View, sort by, snap to grid, sort by name. All right, so here are a load of books, okay? So there are 600 items. So here, how long would it take to build something like this in Rust? It will take several minutes. So you could have an API easily. Let me grab some water and a coffee. Give me 2 seconds, okay? Right, back. So, where were we? Okay, so basically the tool would be able to infer a specific chapter and let the user determine whether they would want to write the book, probably buy the book. Yeah, don't go there. In theory, you could do you have Discord? I do have Discord. Let me close this streaming thing. Hold on. Let me. What's oh, you've you blocked messages from strangers. Yeah, you have a block on direct messaging.